What's up, friends? If you want to skip the commentary and fails, you can go to this timestamp. It will take you right to the run. So I figured I'd do something a little different today. I'm going to be doing a commentary about my mid 507 run and what route I'm going to be doing. So I'm just going to jump right in. We're going to start at frame rule 11 on 1-1. So frame rule 11 is not very much any delay. It's about like 1 or 2 seconds of delay. And we're just going to go straight down the pipe as normal. And we're actually going to slow down in underground, so I'm going to demonstrate that. We're going to go up here, and we're going to stop running and just ease into the pipe. And the reason is a little complicated, but essentially we want to skip fireworks because we're going to be doing a trick called ground clip FFPG. So we're going to do a full flagpole glitch by clipping into the ground. And with the time remaining, if we end the level at the time 366, we'll get fireworks. And I believe it's 6 fireworks, and that will just completely ruin the run. So we want to slow down in underground so that we can get a time of 365, which will avoid fireworks. All that to sum up that this is why we need to slow down in underground in 1-1. It's not very picky. I could do that and that would be fine. That'd be like R0 though. We want to get an R of like 12 or something. Or 15, whatever. It just as long as it's a high-ish number. So now we're going to do the hardest trick in the run. It's right in 1-1. So I'm going to turn around, jump, and what we need to do is to jump on these 2 Goombas, and we're going to go bop bop, and then we're going to fall through the floor. And you'll notice that when we do it, we'll stomp this Goomba very low, this first one, and then the second one shortly after. And then Mario will just go right into the floor. You don't have to hit any buttons, it'll just kind of go right in. But we have to wait for him to come to us. So we're going to do a little turnaround here, and then jump. And I use a little visual cue here, so you can see I'm going to jump and fall like that. And when I do, I'm going to use this tree in the background as a visual cue to turn. And Mario's going to hit against this wall and do his little stop dance there. And then he's going to start running. And then when we start running, we want to jump right when we're under this tree. Maybe at this like first pixel, like in this bottom left corner. That's when we want to jump. So let me try to do that. That, jump, and then we want to let go, just like that. It's kind of crazy I got that first try. That is way harder than it looks, and it only takes very specific setups to get that to work. Basically, it's 3 inputs. You do turn left to right, and then the jump, and then release. Turn left, jump, and then release. Most of the time, we'll just run to the Goomba like that. And, wow, I got it again. And then we're just going to run straight to the flagpole. You can see the time up here. We're going to avoid 366 because we slowed down in underground. And then we want to immediately jump. Let me do this. So we want to immediately jump. We want to jump, turn left, and then jump, and then turn right. In very fast succession. Boom. It's a rhythm. You gotta kind of switch between them. Like that. With some subpixels, you can just double jump like that and it's way easier. But the problem is you don't really know what subpixel you're going to have. Usually you'll have like an F or B subpixel, which should be fine. You could just do the double tap like that. You can only just jump twice. You don't have to do any more inputs. But you're kind of gambling that it is. So, I mean, you could go for it if you're very good at the clip and you don't really have like a setup for it. But I recommend just doing wiggle jump because it'll work on any subpixel. A lot of the times if you do too early, you just hit the block. If you miss it, you'll just go up there. If you get the right time, you clip into the block like that. And you turn around and then jump right up to the front. Like that. And that will work for, I believe, any subpixel. It just doesn't matter. Just as long as you clip into the ground, you can always do that. See, we've got R2. Now let's move on to the next level. We can see we're starting at frame rule 103. And 1-2 is pretty simple in this run. Just go to the right. We're not going to be doing anything crazy like another ground floor clip or anything. But this pipe jump is such a pain. Now pipe jumps are harder. I believe it's a 1 to 2 frame window, and I wiggle there right at the end too. So I jump, and we do a little wiggle there, and then jump over the pipe. And we want to do big jumps on these platforms so we don't accidentally go through them because PAL is very wonderfully programmed. So now we want to turn around and just go straight into 4. It's pretty easy. R13, it's an easy level. Besides the pipe jump, it's pretty simple. Now this is the easiest level. It's just like NTSC. Just run to the right and grab the flagpole. We're not doing any FPGs. We're not doing any sort of ground flips or anything. Can't even really do that on this level. I mean, you could if you slow down and get a spiny maybe, but you're just gonna go right to the flag and that's it. We're gonna get a firework, but that won't lose us time because it's just one firework. And now 4-2. And for NTSC runners, this is like one of the hardest levels in the run, but surprisingly in PAL, it's actually really easy. So we're gonna do a 2-bump strategy. So what I do is I turn around, bump this wall, just turn around. You're gonna jump on these Goombas, turn around, jump on these Goombas, and then turn around like right here. And then we hit the vine like normal. And we go right into the pipe like that. I'm not going to do it the turn around way just because PAL acceleration is already really fast. So I'm going to turn around, hit the vine, jump, we're going to do a little wiggle to avoid that piranha and go right in. And the timing, the frame roll window is kind of tight, but usually you can make it. Like I got R2 there. It's actually pretty simple. You get boosted more pixels to the right because of PAL acceleration, so the amount of pixels you need to bump for a 2-bump setup is very lenient, so the level's actually pretty easy. And now 8-1 is probably, I would say, the 3rd hardest level in this run, and that's because this just has some precise jumps. Because pipe jumps are so precise in this version. I believe it's a 1 or 2 frame. So most people do a pipe jump here, especially in NTSC. Well, you kind of have to in NTSC, but we don't have to worry about judges or being like 1 frame off the frame roll. We can just simply run towards the goal because frame rules are a different length, and even if they were, we would have acceleration. But what I'm going to do is jump right here between this fence post. We're going to do full jump, and then another full jump, and then we're going to wiggle. We're going to push left for a second. So you go down this abyss right here, this little cavern with this spiny, this little gap. Avoid the spiny and jump, and then tap right again to go fast again. So that looks something like this. Tap, and then go. Jump, tap, and then go. And it will lose us some frames on the frame rule, but since it's very lenient in this level, we don't really need to worry about that. So we can do all that to just skip a pipe jump, just to make it easier. Then we have this pipe, and this, we do need to do the pipe jump here, because if we hit these Goombas, despawning the Goomba later on to avoid the 3 Goomba situation, where if you don't despawn it by stomping the Koopa, you'll get 3 Goombas and you'll have to do a frame perfect jump. I find that just hitting this pipe jump is a little easier because it's, I believe, a 1 to 2 frame window instead of the Goomba jump needing to be purely just frame perfect. So we're gonna jump, jump. That was 2nd frame, I think. We're gonna stomp the Koopas to deload that one. Go over here. You can just go under these pair of Koopas. We're not gonna hit the star. That's unnecessary. It doesn't matter in this version. And this, in my opinion, is probably the hardest part of 8-1. Because what we need to do, you can see here, we have these piranhas, and we need to do a pipe jump. And pipe jumps are harder on PAL. And what I do is I use this tree as a visual cue to jump. Just go near the beginning of it, maybe near the little beginning part, maybe the starting part. And I jump and do a tiny wiggle just to make it a little more lenient, like that. Because if I don't, it's going to be very tight. I mean, you can obviously do it without it, but it makes it a lot easier if you just stop. And when you're right next to the pipe, if you're not, unless you're like about to fall off of it, like if you don't jump far enough, I'd recommend doing the wiggle. Like that. And you should still definitely have enough time, unless you did the wiggle at the beginning very slow, then I would be a little weary of it, but you should be fine. And another cue to see if you might be too slow is to use the music, because if like the next phrase of the music starts, because it usually winds down, and that means you probably didn't go fast enough, but we were just fine. There we go, R3. And then 8-2 is pretty easy in this level, especially with the frame rule we started on in the run with 11. So with this staircase part, we can just slow down a little bit and then go fast again. So I'm gonna let go of run and then jump, and then we can just go up like that. It's way easier because if we go full speed, I'll show. If you go full speed, you'll just hit this spiny because your acceleration's faster, and that means you go to the right faster, and Latitude throws the spiny faster. So we're just gonna slow down to avoid that, and then just go right up. It's very easy. And this part of 8-2 is pretty easy. We're just gonna jump in a consistent way, just jump on the bullet bills. And with this pattern here, we have the 2 piranhas and we have this paracupa, and you can just run under it. It's a very convenient pattern. So we're gonna do that, and then for Blant, it's basically a typical Blant. It's nothing special. Slow down. And then with this pattern, with these paracupas, you just want to jump over them. It's a pretty lenient jump. Jump. Slow down. Jump, jump. And here we have this paracupa, and we can just jump off the bullet bill right onto him, and he'll fall, and that's it. And again, this is one of the easier levels of the run. And if we're on the right frame rule, then we'll know what patterns we'll get for 8-3. And that means 8-3 will also be really easy. Probably like the second easiest run in the game if you know what pattern you're on. You'll see that Bill will shoot. We're going to go down. And it's a pretty easy pattern in and of itself. You go down and then you go up. These guys can't really touch you if you go the right path. You're going to jump over that guy. Do 1, 2, 3. Jump over this guy. Oop. That was stupid. We're going to jump up. And we do not have to slow down. No, if you play NTSC, you do not have to slow down because PAL acceleration is so fast you get 244 instead of 243, meaning you avoid fireworks. Alright. Last level at 8-4. 8-4 is, in my opinion, the second hardest level on this run. Because with the route I'm doing wall jump. 1 frame wall jump. I don't know if there's a 2 frame wall jump setup. There might be for PAL, but I'm just doing 1 frame wall jump. Just getting right into it. And I believe the frame rule with these Bowser patterns isn't the best, and the Podoboo can be a little bitchy. Especially if you go slow, you might run into the Podoboo, but if you go fast enough, you should be fine. So let's do this. So for the stairs, since PAL acceleration is different, you're going to play the stairs a little differently. We're going to let go. What I do is I let go of R for a little bit to go neutral on the second stair down, and then repress it when I go on the bottom stair. Because if you don't, you'll just fly off right off the stairs like this. And that's not fun. So I'm going to do that. It's pretty safe, pretty reliable. We can just jump over these 3 Goombas because in PAL you can actually jump a little higher, and I find that it's about a 2 frame window. I didn't get it that time. And it's more reliable than trying to jump on the Goombas themselves. And for wall jump room, we can actually just jump off this pipe instead of fall. Because PAL acceleration's faster. Usually you wouldn't have enough speed. And I think in PAL, it's also lenient if you fall down, but I just jump. It's just my habit. And here's the hardest part of 8-4 besides, obviously, Bowser being random. So what I do is I look at this second little line here, and this is my cue to turn around and jump right on the wall jump pixel. Jump. It's something you just kind of get the feel for. And sometimes Mario will just clip in and turn around, which, I mean, you still make it, but you'll be a little slower. Boom. Turnaround room is pretty simple. You don't even need to do any accels. Accels as we know them in NTSC don't really exist in PAL. Like, yes, there are technically accels, but none of them are really applicable here. The fastest way is literally just to go this way, stop, and go this way. Even in the TAS. But you do need to do some shenanigans where you let go of run for like a little bit, but we're not doing that here. That's not necessary. Okay. We'll jump here, jump. turn immediately and just go right in the pipe. And water is water. Water physics are a little different in PAL, so your jump patterns are going to be a little different. So what I do is I hold, jump, jump, hold, down, hold, tap, tap. And we'll go right in. And also note that down plus right also works to not kill your momentum when you go through mid bar, so that's the same. And 8F. Is that a good pattern? Yes, it is. Oh. Alright, so I just stomp that hammer bro, and then we get the po-de-boo. That's pretty sketchy, but if you go fast enough, you can just go right under it. And jump over Bowser, and that's the run. So yeah, the Bowser patterns for this frame rule aren't very good. They're not terrible. It's definitely doable. I definitely recommend doing frame rule 11 for this route. So if you're going for like a 507, mid 507, this is the route I recommend taking. And if ground clip is too hard for you, it saves 3 frame rules. So then you'd have to do probably 3 different FPGs throughout the rest of the run, which is, if you have a lot of an easier time doing 3 FPGs, then we could do it that way. But ground clip saves so much time that I personally recommend going for ground clip. It's kind of its own thing. Once you get into the rhythm of it, I have about a 10% chance of getting it, but obviously with more practice I'll get better at it. And it's mainly just getting past 1-1 and doing runs past 1-1, because once you get past it, you can get pretty far in your runs, because most of the levels after that are pretty simple, or they have a couple choke points, like 1-2 has the pipe jump, 8-1 has some pipe jumps. But besides that, it's really just about getting past 8-4 and hoping for a good Bowser pattern. I just want to note that at the time of me doing this run, getting a mid 507 is 5th place on the PAL leaderboards. So at this level of play, you do need to be pretty precise, and it has already taken me quite a bit of attempts. It took me, I believe, 456 attempts to get my 509. So this is going to be a pretty big jump for me, but I know I can do it. I estimate it might take a couple thousand attempts, maybe more, maybe less. I'm hoping less. But since 1-1 is such a big choke point, most of that attempt count is probably going to be towards failing ground clip. So yeah, let's continue. So now it's time for me to actually do the runs. So let's see how that goes. Oh my god, you gotta be kidding me! I've never done that before. I made the jump, and then I still fucking hit the spiny somehow. I don't think I slowed down fast, or slow enough. Well, that's fucking rip shit dumb. It's very easy. It's very easy. My flick didn't register! No. I jumped too late. Oh my god. I have not done that fail in a very long time. Damn it. I didn't turn around all the way, so the screen kept scrolling, and I did lightning pose. That little... I don't even know what to call it. The little pose that Mario does when he's trying to turn around. Oh, that was so close, too. That was so close. There we go. That's pretty fast, too. This is a really nice cloud over here. You know, I'm very glad that I stopped my entire run, the run that would have gone the world 8, to turn around and look at this cloud. Fuck. Mario, please run into this block. I did it again. I didn't slow down enough. Okay. Guess that's gonna be the thing from 0. Oh my god, jump Mario, jump man, jump, comma man. Bam! Mario's such an idiot. He's walking into the flagpole instead of the castle. What an idiot. Doesn't even know how to enter a building. Is that fast enough? I think so. Yeah. Alright, come on, man. Trust the Koopa. Alright, come on. Oh my god. Bowser, please, please. Yes! Oh my god, is that a 506? Dude, is that a 506? Did I just get a fucking 506? That 8-4 was so good! Dude! No, I gotta retime that. No way! No freaking way! I just fluked 8-4! Thanks, Bowser! Thank you, I really appreciate it. You know, Bowser really has good manners. Dude, what the fuck just happened? Holy cow. So let's break this down. This took me, let's see, let me calculate. This took me 357 attempts. And to get my last PB, my first PB, I had taken 456 attempts. Not only did I fluke the run past Blant, but I potentially just got a 506. And I got a good Bowser pattern. Like, I literally couldn't ask for anything, like, better. Thank you guys for watching. I feel like I'm in the toilet zone right now, so I'm gonna go collect myself. So yeah. I win.